What if I told you that the person Michael Jackson feared most wasn't a stalker, a criminal, or even the media? It wasn't the paparazzi that followed his every move. It wasn't the critics who mocked his appearance. It wasn't the people who spent years trying to tear down his reputation. The person Michael Jackson feared most was his own father. And according to Michael himself, that fear began when he was just 5 years old. Most children spend their early years worrying about imaginary monsters hiding under the bed. Michael Jackson didn't have to imagine one. For him, the monster was real. His name was Joseph Jackson. And long before Michael became the king of pop, before the stadiums, before the moonwalk, before the fame that would make him one of the most recognizable people in history, he was just a little boy growing up in a small house in Gary, Indiana. A boy who desperately wanted something that seemed so simple, a father's love, but instead, he got something very different. To understand what happened between Michael and his father, you have to go back even further before Michael was born. Joseph Jackson wasn't always the intimidating figure the world would come to know. As a young man, he had dreams of becoming a musician himself. In the 1950s, he formed a blues band with his brother and hoped music would become his future. He wasn't interested in working long hours at a steel mill. He wanted to be on stage. He wanted people cheering his name. He wanted success. But success never came. The band failed. The dream collapsed. And like millions of other people, Joseph had to accept reality. He got a job as a crane operator at a steel plant and focused on supporting his growing family. Most people would have left the dream behind. Joseph didn't. He simply found a different way to chase it. Everything changed when Joseph discovered that his children had talent. His older sons had started experimenting with music, secretly playing instruments whenever they could. When Joseph realized what they were capable of, he saw an opportunity. Soon he formed a group and began organizing rehearsals. At first, Michael wasn't even the center of attention. Joseph believed another brother would become a star. But Michael's mother, Catherine, saw something special in her youngest son. She noticed his voice. She noticed the way he could command attention without even trying. She repeatedly urged Joseph to listen to him sing. Eventually he agreed, and in that moment, everything changed. Michael's extraordinary talent became impossible to ignore. Suddenly the youngest child wasn't just another member of the family. He became the future of the group. For Catherine, it was the discovery of a gift. For Joseph, it was the discovery of a way to achieve the success he had always wanted. From that point forward, rehearsals became the center of life in the Jackson household. But these weren't ordinary practice sessions. According to Michael and several of his siblings, mistakes weren't treated as learning opportunities. They were punished. Joseph would sit and watch as the children rehearsed for hours. Every dance step had to be perfect. Every note had to be perfect. Every movement had to be perfect. And if someone got it wrong, consequences followed. Michael would later describe rehearsing while constantly nervous, not just because he wanted to perform well, but because he was afraid of what would happen if he didn't. Imagine being 5 years old and knowing that every mistake might bring punishment. Imagine trying to focus on singing while fear sits beside you the entire time. That was Michael's childhood, not playgrounds, not birthday parties, not afternoons spent with friends. Rehearsals, expectations, pressure, fear. Yet despite everything, the plan worked. The Jackson 5 exploded in popularity. Audiences were captivated by the talented young performers, especially the smallest one. Michael's voice seemed almost impossible coming from a child his age. Crowds loved him. Record executives loved him. America loved him. To the public, it looked like a fairy tale. A talented family rising from humble beginnings to achieve success beyond imagination. But fairy tales usually leave out what happens behind closed doors. While fans saw smiling performances and television appearances, Michael was experiencing something entirely different. Fame was arriving faster than he could understand it, and the pressure to maintain perfection only grew stronger with every success. One of the strangest details about the Jackson household involved a single word. Most children call their father dad. Some say daddy. Those words represent comfort, trust, and affection. But according to Michael, those words weren't allowed. Joseph insisted that his children call him Joseph. Not dad, not daddy, Joseph. To some people, that might sound insignificant, but for a child, language matters. The way we address people reflects the relationship we have with them. Michael later admitted that he desperately wanted to call his father dad. He wanted the closeness that word represented, but the opportunity never came. Instead, there was distance, authority, rules, expectations. The relationship wasn't built on warmth. It was built on control. And as Michael grew older, that emotional distance became harder and harder to ignore. As the years passed, another problem began to emerge. Michael entered adolescence. Like countless teenagers, he developed acne. His appearance changed. His confidence dropped. Anyone who has struggled with insecurity during those years understands how vulnerable that period can be. Teenagers often become painfully aware of every flaw. They need encouragement, support, reassurance. But according to Michael, that's not what happened. Instead, his father focused attention on the feature Michael was already becoming sensitive about, his nose. Michael claimed that Joseph repeatedly made comments about it, sometimes joking, sometimes criticizing, sometimes making him feel different from everyone else. What might seem like casual remarks to an adult can have enormous consequences for a teenager, especially when those words come from a parent. Michael later admitted that he became obsessed with his appearance. He began to see flaws where others saw none. The criticism didn't stay in the moment. It followed him, day after day, year after year, until eventually he couldn't separate his own reflection from the insecurities planted there. Years later, Michael would openly speak about how deeply those comments affected him. He said he hated looking in mirrors. He described crying because of the way he felt about his appearance. Think about that for a moment. The future king of pop, the man millions considered one of the most famous entertainers on earth, the man whose image appeared on magazine covers around the world. That man struggled to look at himself, not because strangers criticized him, because the criticism started at home. And when those wounds form early enough, success doesn't automatically heal them. In many cases, success simply magnifies them. But if the comments about his appearance left emotional scars, one incident left something else entirely. Fear. One night, while Michael was asleep, Joseph decided to teach his son a lesson about leaving windows open. According to the story Michael later shared, his father put on a frightening mask, climbed through the bedroom window, and suddenly appeared in the room screaming. The goal may have been discipline. The result was trauma. Michael later admitted that the experience terrified him. For years afterward, he reportedly suffered nightmares about being kidnapped from his bedroom. Imagine how powerful that fear must have been to remain with him long after childhood ended. A single moment, a single decision, yet its effects lingered for years. And by then, the damage wasn't just physical or emotional. It had become psychological. As Michael entered adulthood, the world saw a superstar. Record-breaking albums, massive concerts, unbelievable success. But behind the scenes, something hadn't changed. Despite all his achievements, despite becoming richer and more famous than almost anyone could imagine, Michael still struggled with the same fear that began decades earlier. And eventually, that fear became impossible to ignore. Because the little boy who once obeyed every order was about to face the hardest challenge of his life, breaking free from the man who had controlled him since childhood.